In terms of work experience, last year I interned at a lovely company called Mira GTX. We made a underground laboratory for this company.
We have a problem. Certainly it's probably not uncommon in pharmaceuticals that we're working in clean rooms. So I was faced with the problem of how do I do fire evacuation training when I'm not allowed to run a fire drill? So I started ringing round universities that have game development courses, and if I'm honest, most of them were fairly closed, fairly uninterested in collaborating with industry. They were doing their thing, but I picked up the phone and dialed Fiona French, one of your lecturers here, and we really got discussing then what it would take to create a game. Through Fiona, we hired 4 of the London Metropolitan students. They created a photorealistic version of our manufacturing facility in a game environment, and then overlaid the fire training and the fire protocols on top of that. There were a few issues around the complexity of some of the things that had to be modelled. I certainly remember Adisa going,
Yeah.
how many curves has that chair got?
It's fine, I guess, when you're asked to make something, but when you've got to break it down and actually be like, how do I get from a cube to an ergonomic chair, it can be a bit of a minefield, especially if you've not made things like that before.
And I would say the other problem that we had was, because we have defined routes for exit, they're not just there for health and safety, but for the operability of the facility. So the game had to know if a player took the wrong turn, that actually that's a fail.
I think just the scale of what I was making was not something I initially expected. I just kind of thought of it as extra practice, like with, I guess, this industry and with, especially being an artist, the more you practice things, the more you're used to like making things if things go wrong. You know how to edit and adapt, but I just didn't expect the scale or the real life, I guess, purpose that this would really have. I just thought of it as more practice, but yeah, completely flipped my expectations.
So we had a fire alarm evacuation since we're back in April now. It was due to some maintenance work we had going on, dust getting into a smoke head. These things do happen. But what was remarkable this time was the way that people evacuated calmly, smoothly, using the correct routes. They were all in the right place at the right fire assembly point. And when we were talking to them afterwards, they said, well, we just did what was in the game.
I do see myself doing more work like this. It's not something I ever thought was possible. So it's a definite route I would love to look into because making games for entertainment is lovely, but it's also just as lovely to realize that your creation can have a real impact in someone's life in a real life situation. So definitely.
Certainly, I mean, what you've produced could save a life.
And I guess it's just unreal to think that that's actually the case. So yeah.